Guys, welcome back to the Frank Fernandez Show. It's May 24, 2010, live from the Lizard Pit. You can email the show at fernandezshow@yahoo.com. Instant messenger us at AOL Instant Messenger Fernandez Show. We've been talking a lot of basketball today. A lot of LeBron James, a lot of the conference finals. A lot of basketball, period. A lot of basketball. I'm sweating. So how about we cool things down and talk about a little bit of hockey? Not much to talk about hockey, but let's talk about a little bit of hockey. We don't have as much juice to give you about hockey as we did about basketball.
Yeah, I don't watch hockey.
But David doesn't watch hockey. I watch hockey here and there. I mean, I'm kind of one of those fans that just watch during the playoffs.
It's warm in Miami.
It's just too hard to get into hockey in Miami. I mean, it's not something that Miami was
Our lakes
like
don't
grew up
freeze.
around it. Yeah, you're right. Our lakes don't freeze. Conference finals are going on. David, where do you want to start? East side or west side?
You know what? We'll go east side.
East side. Flyers. Philadelphia Flyers versus the Montreal Canadiens. Flyers up 2-1 against the Canadiens. No, sorry. 3-1 against the Canadiens. Game 5 is tonight, live at 7:30 from Philadelphia. They have a chance to close out the Canadiens and go to the first finals that I can remember in a long time.
Yeah.
Their goaltender got hurt. I really didn't see him going anywhere. Then again, when the playoffs started, I didn't see him getting anywhere either because it's the 7th seed. And the Canadiens have had a Cinderella year, and they're the 8th seed. So it's pretty funny to see the 7th and 8th seed in the conference finals. You know, and I mean,
the things that happen in playoffs.
on top of it all, the Philadelphia goalie got hurt Game 5 of the Bruins series. On top of it all, the Philadelphia Flyers were down 3-0 in the last series against the Bruins, came back 4 straight and ended up winning in Game 7. And on top of it all, did I say the goalie got hurt already? Yes, I did. This is a goalie that is a brand new goalie, and he has 3 shutouts in the last 4 games. So
He's on a streak,
and Philadelphia's playing hell of a hockey right now, which is kind of worrying me. Why?
He's playing against the Canadiens.
Yo, but the Canadiens took out Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, David.
I don't want to see the little beady eyes win.
A boot? What are you talking about?
I faulted.
Blame Canada.
Terrence.
By the way, Toronto was awesome. And talk about a country loving their hockey. I went to Canada 3 weeks ago, and it's not hockey season. And Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the worst teams in the East this year. And all you saw everywhere was either Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys, Toronto Maple Leaf sweaters, shirts, or hats. Everywhere. It made me feel good, man. It made me feel like this is what Miami should be with the Panthers. Even though, like David said, our lakes don't freeze.
Yeah, even with the Panthers bringing in that new CEO, the Bill Parcells of hockey from Philadelphia.
No, from Chicago.
From the Blackhawks.
From
excuse me.
Chicago.
That was the ironic part. It's like they're in the playoffs. Why would you leave a playoff-bound team right now? But whatever.
He got let go last year is what happened. And what happened last year is that they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So I don't even know why he got let go last year.
Yeah, okay.
But they had the team to make it to the finals last year, but he got let go last year. Whatever, the Panthers picked him up. So you know what? Praise the Panthers that they got somebody that knows something about hockey. Because the last 10 years in Panther hockey has been absolutely mind-boggling and just makes me want to forget about every freaking second of it.
Remember about it. It's like
They haven't made the playoffs in 9 years.
It's like watching the local news cover a Panthers game and saying they win is like, wow, okay.
I've gone to a couple
hockey
Panthers. I've gone to a couple Panther games throughout the years because I like hockey, and it's a fun sport. It's fast paced. I mean, hockey's one of those sports that they don't have any teeth, bro. Look at Keith Duncan. He's missing his whole left side of his mouth. All his teeth are missing, and he's still upbeat about it. It's very rare in any other sport to see that. But the last Panther moment I can honestly remember off of the top of my head is throwing rats. You're absolutely right.
That is the only
throwing
thing I remember
rats
about Panther hockey.
and making the Stanley Cup Finals in 1994
What is the only name you can actually remember?
or 96.
Well, there's a handful of names because we've had some big names come.
We have had some big names
but,
come
I
through
mean,
Florida.
the number one person that everybody remembers is Van Beesbrook. If you don't remember that name, then you weren't alive at that point.
David's right, but I still. I
mean,
don't know. That's hard, man. That's hard.
We've had a lot of big names, but I think the only name that the average Floridian
Is
can
Van
actually
Beesbrook.
remember
David's right.
is Van Beesbrook.
David's right, man. I would have said
he was the
the
man.
Beezer. He was the Beezer.
Beezer.
I would have actually said like Pavel Bure,
No.
But
No.
David's right, man.
No, you can't say
No,
it
you
because,
can't.
A, he was only here for a couple
years.
He destroyed everybody.
He was
wow.
he was a leading goal scorer in a couple seasons back to back.
He was so young at the time.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Pavel Bure is an amazing player now, but
all right.
He's not a Panther.
Let's settle on something here live on the Frank Fernandez Show on Ustream.com. Van Beesbrook was definitely the most popular player, but I think the best player that the Panthers have ever had is Pavel Bure.
Oh yeah, no,
all right.
Totally agree.
So we got to settle on that.
Because Van Beesbrook, after he left the Panthers, was mediocre at best.
Yeah, when he went to New York and he became a Ranger, he sold out on the Panthers. He was mediocre. You're right. He backed up Mike Richter, man. Mike Richter was the wall back then. I mean, Mike Richter's helmet had bricks on it, for God's sake.
No, that was an awesome helmet.
It was a badass helmet.
Helmets were awesome.
Right. Days. When Ed Belfour had the Eagles, Eddie the Eagle Belfour, he was known as having the eye of the eagle.
Who was the one guy that had the dude's mouth on his helmet? It was completely stretched out.
It was a Panther helmet, right? Fitzpatrick. It was Fitzpatrick.
Was that Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, it was Fitzpatrick.
Dude,
he had the Panther mouth opened up with the Panther head on the top.
Dude, that was awesome helmet. Awesome helmet.
And Van Beesbrook had the Vans logo in the back with a B on it.
I don't remember.
And then it had so when you looked at it in the back, it said Van Beesbrook. Oh no, he had the river. That's what it was, Van Beesbrook. That was the big thing about Van Beesbrook helmet. But my favorite helmet, it goes between a toss-up between three helmets. It was Toronto's Felix the Cat Potvin that had Felix the Cat on his helmet. I can't remember his name right now, man, but he was the goaltender of the Penguins, and he had the Penguin from Batman on the top of his helmet. And Ed Belfour is the #1 helmet of all time for me. The two eagles on the side. He had the eye of the eagle. That was the best helmet for me.
I'd definitely say the best helmet for me was definitely the dude, and then the wall.
And the Richter's wall. Richter's brick wall.
Was awesome.
Hockey goalie masks back in the day were cool because it was the Jason mask, but you gotta definitely say that over time, it became hockey. It became about the new era, and it even rubbed off on baseball because all the baseball catcher helmets now are all hockey helmets.
Yeah.
They're one-piece helmets. They used to be the hard helmet with the face mask over it.
Some people still do the hard hat and face mask, but for the most part, they're all wearing that hockey goalie mask. It's got that one strap in the back, so it fits your head to a T. It's the most comfortable helmet I've ever put on.
I mean, it's just a one-pull twig, and you don't have to worry about coming back and taking 30 minutes to put in the helmet back together.
Exactly.
Guys, let's move on to the Western Conference real quick while we're going to wrap up hockey in this segment that we had right now. Part 4, right, David?
Yes, sir.
We're going to go to the west side. The Hawks, baby. Stanley Cup Finals. They sweep the San Jose Sharks yesterday, making their first finals appearance since 1992 when they got beat by Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. Their last cup win was 50 years ago in 1961. So now we're just pretty much waiting for the Eastern Conference Finals to be finished between the Flyers and the Canadiens. And I already told you, I'm worried about Flyers hockey because they're playing good hockey. But the Blackhawks are playing outstanding hockey too. They beat the Sharks shorthanded goals. They beat the Sharks on the power play. They beat the Sharks on the cycle. And they just beat the Sharks down, period.
Yeah, and the Sharks were looking to take it too. Going into the finals, I think that was one of the best looking teams.
The Sharks did not look good the first series, and they just turned against Detroit. They turned it around, and they looked great the rest of the playoffs until they ran into the Hawks.
Yeah.
And it was a confidence booster for them going into the series because they ended up beating the Hawks on the last week of the season by 1 goal. For the Hawks to come into San Jose, beating them 2 times, and then going right back to Chicago, the madness on Madison Avenue, and beating them 2 times in the United Center, and taking the Hawks the first time since 1992 to the Stanley Cup Finals. Ooh, I'm happy about that. Let's see what else we got to talk about sports so we can get you guys ready for the next thing. Next segment is pretty much going to be our entertainment segment. We're going to talk a little bit about the Miami Dolphins, probably a couple minutes because there's not much to talk about them. Still being in OTAs and all, so we're going to let you go right now, take a quick break. We'll catch you in part 5 on the other side of the break, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching the Frank Fernandez Show.